Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is KPZ. You are here on the home of the slightly above average ship review. Got a match for you today in the Victoria. Is the Victoria the current campaign ship? Who knows? Anyway, we got a video in it. If I'm remembering correctly without looking at any notes whatsoever, this is just an Italian battleship with the ready rack. But I'm going to confirm that in a minute here, if I can type fast enough. Alright, swift battleship that shares the layout and features of the Italian Littorio Veneto class warships, considered for construction in Spain through discussions with the Italian government in 1939 and 1940. However, the escalation of World War II and the condition of the Spanish economy hindered the implementation of these plans. Well, that's because they had a dictator, socialist dictator, I believe, named Francisco Franco in charge. Yeah, you know, he was neutral in World War II. Honest, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, except for all the cooperation he gave to the Germans, including submarine basing and stuff like that. But what do I know? I just watch World War II documentaries all the time. All right, we are shooting at Wisconsin. Let me actually see if that guy's name was Francisco Franco. Although I feel pretty confident that it was. He probably had dandruff and a bad mustache. All right, Francisco Franco Bahamonde. I bet you didn't know that that was his real last name. He was the leader of Spain from 1939 until his death in November of 1975, known as Francoist Spain. Good grief. He was a brigadier general at age 33. I don't know if that says a lot about Franco or a lot about the state of the officer corps in the Spanish military. All right, anyway, we've only done 1,000 damage. You know, look, I played some early matches in Victoria, and I came to the personal realization that for me to perform well in the ship, I needed to play it as if it was a heavy cruiser, or even just a cruiser per se. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing here, the maneuvering. I'm not trying to bow tank. I'm trying to kite away and shoot, or shoot at people that aren't shooting at me. That's what worked for me in this match. That's the play style I'm going to carry forward with Victoria. Your mileage as a player may vary, your play style. You know it better than I do. I'm just telling you, I tried to play this normally and was getting erased left and right. And I distinctly remember thinking to myself, let's play it like a cruiser today. And then I had this match where we have 1,683 points of damage so far with 11, just under 12 minutes left to go. All right, we're going to shoot at Wisconsin again. Back to the global wiki. It has no pros or cons listed. Well, I mean, I can give you a pro or con. It's got the ready rack. It's got 2 charges of the main battery reload booster. I believe you have the choice between the secondary guns, the largely worthless catapult fighter, and the spotter plane. I personally think the spotter plane is the best way to go. Again, your mileage may vary. We're going to explore at the end a possible meme build. I don't recommend that either. I'm just going to give you a little sneak preview. Don't do that. It won't work out. So yeah. For me, my success with this game when I played it like a cruiser. All right, we're retreating, mostly because I don't know who's supposed to be spotting right now. We have a main battery range over 20K, by the way, so it's not going to be me. All right, we're shooting at the Napoli B. which is just the Napoli with a big paint job. Somebody absolutely erased that ship right before our shells were about to land. We've got a Dalian. Man, that guy got freaking eliminated. Goodness. All right, there's a Brisbane. Are we going to launch our plane? We are going to launch our plane. All right, shots out at the Brisbane. More shots out at the Brisbane. Are we going to use main battery reload booster? No, because I did so much damage, we don't need to. All right, Dev Strike, kill number 1, 3 hits to Citadel. Yes, folks, when you can catch a cruiser broadside with the first salvo of your revolver, aka Ready Rack, please finish the job. And that is one of the things that makes this ship pretty cool. It's not as good as a Stellinium Dev Strike, but it's still pretty fun to unload the Ready Rack on a cruiser who don't know no better. All right, Scotty, we're shooting a little bit at Scotty right there. We're bow tanking. We're trying to move in and find the Dalian there because I plan to do to the Dalian what I did to the Brisbane. All right, there's the Dalian. We are moving in. I would read you the rest of the history of the ship, but there is none, so there's that. I mean, I could keep talking about Franco, I guess, you know. He liked Iberico ham and a nice Chianti. I think I was intending to shoot at the cruiser, but I guess we're shooting at Wisconsin. Look at that. A Citadel hit on Wisconsin, so don't be afraid to shoot at battleships either. And we are waiting for our reload. And by maneuvering, we dodged some torpedoes. Boy, Wisconsin taking some damage there. I think the ship behind me includes a Yamato. I think there's Yamato back there. I think he's the one who erased that Italian cruiser early on. So there is that. All right, shots at Wisconsin. Another reload. More shots at Wisconsin. I'm not expecting to do a lot of damage. We do take some damage from Bravo Cap, and we're just going to ignore that and keep doing what we're doing. Still moving in. I'm expecting to spot the cruiser any minute now, but I would like Yamato to shoot at Wisconsin, because that way if the cruiser becomes visible, I can kill him myself. Not just strategy, but also psychological strategy being employed here. All right, more shots in Wisconsin, and I think that's going to be it. Oh, we did a little bit of damage, but he's still hanging on. Turning to get the rear turret online, and he dies anyway. All right, is that a Schlieffen? We're going to eat a torpedo here. It doesn't really do that much damage. Our bow appears to be damage saturated, so that's probably why. By turning in here, we're going to avoid these torpedoes completely. And look, I didn't get hit by the torpedo and think, oh, I need to turn 5 degrees to starboard. I just said, hey, let's turn in a little bit. Maybe we'll miss the next salvo. All right. Gowden Liu. Oh, looks like he's turning to give me the full broadside. You go ahead and do that, buddy. All right, salvo number 1. The cruiser's visible in the smoke screen. I have a better target right there. 1 hit to Citadel. And the second hit to Citadel, a second Dev Strike. Kill number 2. All right, the Dalian. As we're waiting for reload, he is also going to turn and give me the broadside. Those shells weren't particularly well aimed, so they totally... Oh, well, I do get a Citadel hit anyway. And then he ran to the island. I didn't really aim those either, and so... And we're not going to get that kill. But that off-balance Citadel felt really fun. And we sail out of the cap, and we don't get the base cap either. So when you see the end of the match, just remember we could have had more XP and more kills if I was playing smarter, but I am not. playing smarter because I'm dumb. By the way, we're up to 125k damage. All right, we're switching to HE because the Schlieffen is a German ship, and I know German ships love to catch on fire. He is running away as fast as he can. It appears that most of the other ships are nowhere around here. I will mention the destroyer was last spotted on the other side of the Bravo cap, and that may come into play. All right, just a couple, 3 ships, pardon me, left remaining. We're going to do a Crazy Ivan here and turn in a little bit to see if we can avoid torpedoes unintentionally. But really, I'm just trying to spot the Schlieffen right now, or have him spotted for me. Meanwhile, 2 of my teammates are closing in on the Bravo cap. We're also in the process of flipping the Charlie cap, although that guy over there is engaged in combat, so don't know how that's going to go. And I looked at all that and said to myself, someone's got to burn down the Schlieffen, and it might as well be you. All right, we're going to complete the Crazy Ivan here and turn all the way in. Also going to get our turrets on target. We still have HE loaded, and we sent 2 salvos from the front. And as you can see, we got 2 fires as a result of that. We'll also send 2 salvos from the rear. And will we get fires from that? No. All right, now I'm turning back because this is a World War II anti-destroyer tactic or anti-submarine tactic. You do a zigzag in the water, you know. So I bring those tactics here to World of Warship Legends. All right, more salvos on the Schlieffen. There's another fire. His torpedo tubes get disabled, and he is burning, and we are accruing burning damage. I'm desperately turning, but somebody else kills him. All right, the cruiser is going to get killed here shortly, the Gauden Lu, although we might shoot at it a couple of times. Turning. I don't think I led him at all enough that time. And then it looks like he might get something from that last salvo, but also he's turning in. All right, we get a little bit there. We're up to 141k damage. And now we're going to turn all the way back out here, trying to get these turrets on target. I can't see over the mountain range. Oh, fudge. All right, well, I am dead because the destroyer lined me up with the torpedo salvo and hit me, and I am quite dead. And yeah, that ends our game today. We're gonna hang out a little bit. I am still working on the early access Pan American cruisers, but they're not totally impressive. Although I will say the AP has been nice. The AP pen has been nice on those at range. So don't hesitate to explore that. Also got that commander unlocked. He's not fully ranked up. I think I'm at 15-3. So I'm hoping that there's tons of consumables. If you build all the way into the consumables, I think you can have like 5 or 6 charges of sonar and whatever other consumables come with that. So heals, the DFAA charges and stuff like that. You'll have 4 to 5, or maybe 5 to 6 on some of those ships. So I'm not sure you'll be able to use all of those charges in one match. So although it will be cool to roll out with 6 DFAA charges and 6 enhanced quote-unquote sonar, I think you would have to start the match by engaging that stuff to even come close to being possible to burn them all in one match. So I may have to rejigger my commander build with that, and we will talk about that in a video if I get another early access video up, which I'm hoping to do this weekend. Hoping to get another early access video up. For some reason, I've been wanting to play Warships lately, so that's why we're getting videos. Yeah. Anyway, the match is just going to keep going here, and I don't know what else to talk about. Do I still have Francisco Franco up on the screen? I do. All right. He regretted the abolition of the monarchy. Oh, whatever. Da 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 da. He joined the military coup, sparking the Spanish Civil War. And he became the head of the state and generalissimo because everybody above him in the leadership of his faction was killed. So, I mean, yeah. Anyway, here we are on the victory screen. 141,813 total damage. 2 kills, 3 assisted kills, 3 fires, 7 hits to Citadel, a couple of devastating strikes. Ended up with 560,439 silver, over 12,000 ship XP, over 3,300 green XP, over 21,000 commander XP in Victoria, with the totally made up and not real Jose Ferrandiz Guainino. Is that how you say that? Pardon, I don't speak that language. All right, here we are on the top of the board, 2871 base XP. I think if we had gotten that base cap, would have been an assisted base cap, maybe another kill, we could have topped 3K in the Victoria. So my advice to you is play it like a cruiser more than a battleship, and you might have a good time. All right, here in the port, we went with aiming systems mod 1, damage control system mod 2, concealment system mod 1, and main battery mod 3. Taking a look at the loadout, we've got high explosive and armor piercing. As you can see, there are 2 shells in the ready rack. That means you can shoot twice, and then you have to reload. All right, 4 charges of the damage control party. They are limited for this ship. 3 charges of a repair party. 3 charges of the observation seaplane. As mentioned, I do not recommend the catapult fighter or the enhanced secondary targeting, but that is just me. You go ahead and use those if you want to. And 2 charges of a main battery reload booster. In this last match, we were using all... I hit some wrong buttons there on my controller. We were using all the epic flags. We got the Type 9 permanent camouflage and the Victoria flag. How very nice. All right, 64,800 hit points with our build, a 38% torpedo damage reduction, and a 32% fire resistance with our build. Main battery, 3 triple 381mm turrets, 20.1 kilometer firing range with our build. 32-second reload, 2.5-second shell chambering time for the ready rack. There are just 2 shells in the ready rack, as you saw. Main battery turret turn is 28.6 seconds. Shell grouping value is 2.15. Dispersion is all slightly better. HE shells do 5,100 max damage with a 24% fire chance, and pen 64 millimeters of armor. AP shells do 9,720 max damage with our build. Pen's 880.9 millimeters at point blank range, and an unfortunate 490.5 millimeters at max range. That's a significant decrease of about 41.5 millimeters. All right, fuse arming threshold 64 millimeters. You've got several sets of secondaries, or maybe just 2. 12 90 gun emplacements, shoot out to 5.8 kilometers, reload in 4 seconds. Shell grouping value of 1, dispersion all slightly better. HE shells do 1,300 max damage with a fire setting chance of 5%, and pen 15 millimeters of armor. Second set of secondaries, 4 triple 152 millimeter gun emplacements. Again, the range 5.8 kilometers. Reload every 12 seconds. Shell grouping value of 1. Dispersion all slightly better. HE shells do 2100 max damage with a 7% fire chance, and pen 25 millimeters of armor. AA. Oh, don't believe this AA number at all. All right, you've got several groups of AA, including both sets of secondaries. Your best AA is your 16 quad 20 millimeter gun emplacements that do 129 damage per second, but the firing range is just 2 kilometers. So it says AA defense 79. I got nothing to worry about. Yeah, you do. It's only good right over the ship. Looking at all this other stuff, these dual purpose 90 millimeters go out to 4 kilometers and they do 102 damage per second. I mean, maybe that's somewhat of a bright spot. All this other stuff, I mean, look at the 152s, does hardly any damage. 34 damage per second. Don't buy that AA number, folks. It is not that great. All right, maneuverability, 28.8 knots with our build, 810 meter turning circle. Rudder shift time is 15.5 seconds. Concealment, 13.7 on the surface, 11.5 from the air, 14.6 if you ever find yourself in a smoke screen. Taking a look at our battle stats, we've played 6 matches and won half. Our main battery accuracy is 42%. Most of the kills via the main guns. We're averaging 0.8 kills and 84k damage per match. Obviously, the last match was really our best match when I changed my own playstyle for the ship. Taking a look at the armor viewer, well, it's not a lot here to get excited about. You've got a multicolored above the waterline citadel that looks like it's really easy to hit. Put the bow back on. Should be a 32 millimeter bow. It does have a small armor belt that you can see there in relief of 130 millimeters. All right, putting the casemate armor on, looking for an armor belt. Do we find one? Just 70 millimeters. What? I know you're thinking this can't be right. Torpedo protection below the waterline, but that includes an armor belt of 375 millimeters, and it appears to be spaced armor looking at the overhead view. So that is pretty nice. Turrets and barbette armor is terrible. The barbettes are not especially heavily armored, but they are more armored than some other parts. The turrets, I expect, will be knocked out by anyone aiming at them. That is the armor profile of Victoria. Wargaming lies. Sure shot, maybe. Barrage, yes. Revolver, yes. I guess we'll say it's partially true. All right, here's the commander, Jose Ferrandiz Juanino. I probably mispronounced that again. Base trait, architect of the fleet. A better dispersion and better shell grouping. Let's explain it that way. We went with Scharnhorst for even more dispersion help, and Iachino for even better shell grouping. Row 1, I went with Flammable Cannoneer for range and more shell grouping. Row 2, Gyrating Drill Bits for traverse speed and AP shell damage. Do take a hit in speed. Row 3, Strategic Premonition, 16% reduction in shell chambering time. Somewhat unique skill. Row 4, Ready to Rack, reduces the main battery reload reduction time with each hit of the main battery. Also reduces the reload time for a battleship with a ready rack, and a decrease or a benefit to dispersion. I don't know quite how to phrase that. Dispersion better. How about that? And the legendary skill Rebuilder, which gives a reduction in the cooldown time for the damage party, another decrease in reload, an increase in main battery range, and gives you 4 base damage control party charges. All right, that is the Victoria. I'm going to stop here and say, hey, wait a minute. What if we put in this commander? Don't do this, and here's why. The base trait is worthless because it has the words your cruiser in it. So that base trait would do nothing to benefit the ship. Row number 1, ingenious, cruiser damage. Burn it down XXL would work, no fly zone would work. Forewarned command, again I see the words cruiser there, so you could use full speed ahead, but you couldn't use igniter. So your ship would be faster in row 2. That's it. All right, row 3, strategic premonition. Yes, this would work in that ship. 4th row, fixated. Again, that's cruiser, main battery shell grouping. And then again, honorable sacrifice, cruiser ready rack. I was hoping you might be able to get an extra shell in the ready rack, but no. So don't put this commander in the ship under any circumstances. Use Jose. Definitely don't use these other guys. Anyway, that's the video. Like, comment, subscribe down below. I'll see you in the comments.